You're about to learn how the American dream quietly swapped house keys for car keys, why no address secretly means no options, where your paycheck really disappears each month, who's monetizing the crisis behind the scenes, and the survival playbook families use when rent outruns reality. By the end of this video, you'll see the 5 pressure points crushing the middle class, and exactly how a stable life turns into a park life, one small shock at a time that a pound of beef now costs like a pair of sneakers. A small apartment now costs a lifetime of savings. And something strange is happening in America. The middle class, the symbol of stability, is moving into vans. Call them digital nomads, minimalists, free spirits if you want. Behind the hashtag are instant noodles in church parking lots, veterans folding blankets in truck beds, fathers charging their phones at Starbucks just to apply for online jobs. They aren't useless. They're priced out. They didn't shun society. Society raised the rent and locked the door. Point 1 medical bill. 1 job loss. 1 rent hike. That's all it takes to join the rows of overnight parkers. So, what pushed an entire class behind the wheel? Let's follow the money, because money leaves footprints. Over the past few years, rents in many places didn't just rise, they launched. Wages, meanwhile, moved like a tortoise chasing a rocket. In the places everyone recognizes, California, Florida, New York, what used to be a 2-income path to a 2-bedroom now looks like 133 hours of work per week to make it add up. 19 hours a day. Sleep when? Live when? That tiny apartment with a humming fridge and the electric stove? It now costs what a used truck costs. And people choose the truck, because if you're going to be squeezed, at least let it move. You can list the causes like a shopping receipt. Shrinking affordable supply, investor buying sprees, high interest rates, rising property taxes. But the scary part is how perfectly the system works. A family makes $4,000 a month. Rent takes $1,050 a month? Great if you live in 2009. Today, that same rent swallows $1,800, $2,200, $2,600, numbers that turn budgets into fantasies. Gas, food, insurance, medicine, school, gone. One blown tire, and the math collapses. And when the math collapses, the labels change. Tenant becomes applicant. Applicant becomes denied. Denied becomes temporarily parked. Look around any West Coast city at night, and you'll see a new kind of neighborhood. Safe parking lots. They're organized, quiet, strict. Enter before 9 p.m., leave by 7 a.m. No noise, no drama. Teachers, bank clerks, nurses, warehouse staff, people who still clock in every morning. 76% have jobs. The difference is paperwork. Once your address becomes a license plate, you no longer exist in the system that demands a fixed address for everything. Want a lease? Need an address. Apply for a better job? Need an address. Receive mail for documents? Need an address. The American machine runs on zip codes. Lose the code, lose the keys. And here's the part almost nobody says out loud. The crisis has a brand. Instagram sells freedom on 4 wheels, sunset vans, enamel mugs, golden dogs staring at blue oceans, while cities quietly rename homelessness as vehicle residency. The market follows the rebrand. Startups meter dignity, showers, charging, Wi-Fi, security, pay as you park. Inequality isn't solved. It's reskinned, packaged, and upsold as lifestyle. When inequality becomes normal, it gets marketed as, oh, how did we get conditioned to accept this? Debt. The middle class learned to speak debt like a native language. Go into debt for school to earn more later. Mortgage debt for permanence. Auto debt for the commute that pays the debts. A credit debt to paper over the gap between wages and life. We were taught to believe debt is a staircase. For many, it became a treadmill. You don't notice the incline until you can't breathe. Working Americans feel it in their bones. A lunch that eats half an hour of wages. A full tank that devours a day. The online joke lands because it's true. Hard work doesn't guarantee wealth. It guarantees exhaustion. In the night lots you can spot the uniformed nurse reclining her seat with a hospital ID still dangling. An Uber driver folding a blanket before the dawn airport run. They aren't choosing chaos. They're choosing to keep going. I pay taxes like everyone else, one warehouse worker said. The difference is I pay them from a parking lot. Let's run the trap most people fall into. Work 2 jobs, 80 hours, bring home what looks like enough on paper. Now subtract rent in a big city. Subtract gas for both jobs. Subtract car insurance required to keep both jobs. Subtract food, co-pays, 1 prescription, and the phone that your boss expects you to answer. There's nothing left, but you still have the car you're paying off. So you sleep in the only thing you still own payments on. The line between okay and gone isn't a cliff anymore. It's a curb. Now, here's the loop nobody closes. People keep working. They don't vanish. They reappear in redesigned lives. Some call it off-grid, others call it post-credit, but under both labels there's one fact: freedom is cheaper than rent until you count the hidden costs. Try sleeping under neon in a Walmart lot in winter. Try deciding between gas for the generator or dinner. Try showering at the gym forever. The photos don't show the power bank failing at 3 a.m. or the cop's flashlight at your window. Social media sells a dream. The street sells the bill. Meanwhile, the safety net is crowdsourced. Churches add restrooms and outlets. Students organize safe lots because city permits take months. Neighbors petition to keep a single site open. The state? In a meeting. Always in a meeting. And when communities help themselves, they're told to move along because dignity violates zoning. Conditional kindness. I support solutions, just not where I live. So what still holds the middle class together when both the roof and the faith slip away?
A key.
A car key. The last border of dignity is a door you can lock. In that lock lives identity. I am not homeless, I am parked. Language guards pride when the system strips paperwork. Without a lease, you lose a mailbox. Without a mailbox, you lose documents. Without documents, you lose opportunities that depend on documents. The machine doesn't hate you. It just doesn't see you. I met a veteran who once drove a Humvee in Iraq and now drives a 2008 minivan in Santa Barbara. At least here. I can lock the doors, he said. That sentence holds a country. The car, once the symbol of American freedom, has become a fortress for a class under pressure, a small, moving autonomy in a world that keeps invoicing them for existing. They still wash the car, still hang a flag, still show up to work. Because dignity isn't a luxury, it's the last possession. Now let's talk about the near future nobody wants to claim publicly. What if the parking lot becomes a planned neighborhood? Rows of vans with LED lights. Premium rows with solar hookups. Economy rows near the gas station. Monthly memberships. Showers, laundry, charging. A virtual mailing address. Housing as a service. We'll call it a mobile community. Politicians will cut ribbons. The word homeless will quietly fade from the website copy. And somewhere a press release will brag: we eliminated street sleeping. Footnote: we normalized car sleeping. When inequality is too expensive to fix, it gets renamed and sold. If that sounds dystopian, check the trend lines. Vehicle residency rises each year. Safe lots multiply. The culture shifts from shock to shrug. The point isn't that nobody chooses the road by choice. Some do, and they find beauty on it. The point is that more and more people are being funneled onto the road without a choice, and then handed a brochure that tells them it's freedom. So what can move the needle for real people right now? I'm not here to sell you fantasy. I'm here to give you a working map. First lever, the address trap. If everything requires a fixed address, then virtual address infrastructure tied to safe parking programs is a lifeline. Mail, IDs, job applications, regain a paper identity and your real identity can start breathing again. Second lever, the cost stack. If debt is the treadmill, you need friction brakes. Community credit unions with small dollar emergency lines beat predatory cards. Payroll savings automations, $25 a week, beat good intentions. Debt snowball tools turn chaos into sequence. None of this is glamorous. All of it is oxygen. Third lever, income resilience. The gig economy sells flexibility while it withholds benefits. Flip the script. Stack one anchor job with two skill-based online streams you can actually control. Customer support chat shifts, remote QA tasks, transcription with guaranteed floor rates, basic marketplace services that you can schedule before midnight, not after it.